Hey everyone, welcome to Wealth Redefined. I'm your host, Michael Reynolds, certified financial planner and owner of Elevation Financial on the web, as always, at elevationfinancial.com. I'm going to talk to you today about important numbers you need to know for 2024. We're coming up on the end of the year, and every year there are changes to tax rates, contribution limits, figures in personal finance, all kinds of stuff you need to be aware of. So it's important to keep track of these updates because they can often make a difference in your financial plan and sometimes can open up more options for you. I will admit this is not the most exciting episode, but we'll keep it short and just kind of touch on the highlights of what's been updated. Also, there is a PDF you can download as a reference that has all of these and more in a nice kind of 2-page visual PDF with a chart with all these numbers updated for 2024. You can download as a reference. Just look for episode 206. This is episode 206 of the podcast. If you go to my website and find that episode, this will link over to the blog post version of this, which at the end has that PDF download. So go look for that if you'd like to grab it. All right, so here's a brief summary of some of the changes for 2024, and again, followed by a more in-depth downloadable PDF if you go to the website and grab it there. Let's start with federal income tax brackets. Income tax brackets for individuals for 2024 start at 10% for incomes up to $11,600, and then go all the way up to 37% for incomes over $609,350. For married couples filing jointly, the 10% bracket covers incomes up to $23,200. And again, that 37% bracket for incomes over $731,200. So we've seen some updates in the tax brackets and the ranges as well. Standard deduction also been updated. The standard deduction is increased to $29,200 for married couples filing jointly and $14,600 for single filers. AMT, alternative minimum tax. The exemption amount for AMT is now $133,300 for married couples filing jointly and $85,700 for single filers. And the phase-out thresholds are $1,219,700 for married couples and $952,150 for single filers. All right, capital gains tax. Capital gains is the tax rate that you are taxed on when you sell investments held for over a year. So capital gains tax is a lot of opportunity here. And so these ranges have been updated as well. And so for 2024, the 0% capital gains rate now goes up to $94,050 for married couples and $47,025 for singles. The 15% range starts at $94,051 and ranges up to $583,750 for married couples. And that 50% range for single individuals is $47,026, all the way up to $518,900 for singles. And then the 20% capital gains bracket starts above those ranges. So we've seen some increases in the ranges or the expansion in the ranges of those 0 and 15% capital gains rates, which could open up some opportunities. So things like if you're selling investments, selling stocks or funds or ETFs that have been held for more than a year, these ranges could apply to you and give you some tax advantages there. Estate and trust brackets also updated. The tax rates for estates and trusts begins at 10% for incomes up to $3,100 and cap at 37% for incomes over $15,200. Social Security. The wage base for 2024 is set at $168,600 with a cost of living adjustment of 3.2%. All right, retirement plan limits. These have been updated as well. The contribution limit for plans like 401k plans, 403bs, or other workplace plans is now $23,000 with a catch-up contribution of $7,500 for individuals age 50 and above. So that's been increased from last year, or I guess from this year, depending on when you're listening to this. All right, let's talk about IRA and Roth IRAs. So IRA and Roth IRA contributions for 2024 are now capped at $7,000. So it's an increase from the previous year for those under age 50. So if you're 50 plus, you still have that catch-up contribution of $1,000 for a total of $8,000 if you're 50 plus. The phase-out ranges for traditional IRA deductibility, if you're covered by a work plan, now start at $77,000 and end at $87,000 for single filers. and the range is 123 to 143 for married filing jointly. So 123,000 to 143,000 for married filing jointly. That's traditional IRA deductibility if you're covered by a work plan. For Roth IRAs, the phase out ranges from $230,000 to $240,000 for married couples filing jointly, and $146,000 to $161,000 for single filers. That is for eligibility to contribute to a Roth IRA. All right, education tax credits. The American Opportunity Credit phase out now ranges from $123,000 to $143,000 for married filers, and the lifetime learning credit ranges from $160,000 to $180,000. The estate and gift tax exemption. Estate and gift tax is $13,610,000 for 2024 with a tax rate of 40%. The annual gift tax exclusion has been increased to $18,000. So what this means is you can now gift someone up to $18,000 in a given year without having to file a gift tax return on it. This doesn't mean you have to pay a gift tax necessarily if you go over that, but it does mean that you have up to $18,000 you can give without filing a gift tax return. We'll wrap up with HSAs, health savings account. I love HSAs. The HSA contribution limits are now $4,150 for individuals and $8,300 for families. So that's an increase in HSA contribution limits as well. So that's a kind of a summary, some highlights there. The numbers do represent significant shifts in financial thresholds and limits, again, which could impact tax strategies, retirement planning, and investment decisions. So for more details, definitely reach out and we can talk more about these numbers. But again, you can download a PDF of these numbers on the blog post version of this podcast episode, which is episode 206. And that PDF will be a nice reference for you for 2024. So again, not the most exciting episode, but some highlights that you might want to be aware of. Increase those contributions if your limit applies to you. Those Roth IRA, and IRA deductibility thresholds could be different for you now, opening up some opportunities. Capital gains rates could also open some tax opportunities. So a few things that might apply to you here and to be aware of. All right, that wraps up for today. So with that, thanks for joining me today as always. You're also welcome to reach out whenever you have questions or would like to talk more about working with me. The website is elevationfinancial.com. Grab a time there on the contact page. You can book a meeting online and we'll chat. With that, thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.